I was called to a house to have a look to see what was going on. Apparently they'd had quite a few sort of ghostly happenings, probably more like demonic happenings, really, from what I could gather by the stories that I was being told. A friend of mine at work, her sister and her husband and 2 children were involved. The little boy is only maybe a few weeks old. So there was quite a bit of disturbance, and of course the mother of the children was very disturbed, and she eventually moved out of the house and is still not there to this day. So I was called to the house and looked inside. When I drove up the drive, I actually thought it was the most haunted looking house I'd ever seen in my life. But when we got there, I went with another friend who is also clairvoyant, and the 2 of us drove up. There seemed to be a distorted energy around the house from top to bottom. It was 2 stories. It had a loft upstairs. And so I went inside. The husband of the family walked us through the house. He's also very intuitive, has a Maori background, and can also pick up a lot of the same things that I can. So anyway, I walked through the house and couldn't really find anything except for walking into the hallway. You could see up into the loft, and the loft the energy was distorted. So we walked up this very, very tiny little staircase that wound around up into the top part of the house, and I looked in one of the bedrooms, or one of the rooms, and there was a tiny window with like a cavern type ceiling up above. When I got in there, there was like an absolute feeling of I just needed to get out. And then I realised that I was trying to push the roof of the house up, the ceiling up, and I felt like I was in a car and that I was like drowning, and then that I had to get the door open to get out. Later on, I actually learned that there had been a woman and a young woman who was driving to the property that their house is on, that is owned by somebody else. Part of the property is owned by somebody else, or leased by somebody else. Not sure of the ownership, but anyway, this girl was on her way to work. There was a massive flood. She went through the water, believing that her SUV would be able to get through, and apparently it couldn't, and so her and her 3 dogs were drowned in the river with in the SUV that she was in. And that had happened apparently a couple of months before. So anyway, but I couldn't really find anything else, and we went downstairs, and then so anyway, the husband of the household, he actually said, "Can you come outside, because I believe there's something outside." We went walking around to the outside of it, and there it was, a massive portal, like a massive vortex of energy just where the house was situated upon, and it was coming out, and it was enough to make me shake while I was there. And I actually said to him, I said, "You could actually power the whole entire house from the energy that's coming from this portal alone." I have not that much, I would see a lot of portals and have come across a lot of portals. However, this was different. I could see straight down into the portal and realised it was a portal to the hell realms. I also picked up that whatever energy it came from was extremely ancient, much more ancient than the Aboriginals that were a part of the land, much more ancient, like an ancient civilization. The husband of the house also told me, with his Maori background, that he had also found another portal in another paddock, which was just next to where we were. And he and some cousins, who were apparently shamans, had shut down the other portal. He did also or his wife actually told me a little bit later on, that all he could hear were the screaming of children. If you know anything about this area at all, which there have been a lot of Aboriginals killed, but also too, just recently it's come to my attention that there have been a lot of dark portals that have been shut down, and these dark portals have always been kept open by dark witch satanic covens, which use children as a sacrifice to the god Moloch, and to the gods, their gods, and to keep the dark energies coming through, and so that they can use it for their dark, nefarious ways. So anyway, I then looked down another area of the paddock where the house was situated on the hill. It was situated beautifully. It was so lovely, and the area where it was absolutely beautiful. So I walked down the hill a little bit and found that there were like a massive amount of different ley lines that were all and grids, which I'd never really come across because I usually do not have much to do with land clearing and energy clearing from ley lines. So anyway, I just said to him, and it was the night of the lunar eclipse, which was in November. So I just said to him, look, I don't know what to do. I will come back a little bit later on when I have rung some people that I know. So I left and tried to find out as much information as I could. Nobody was available. I rang one person 3 times, nothing. Finally got on to one woman here, very close to where we live, and she was very concerned, and rightly so. However, her approach was quite different to mine, and I actually thought, well, and it was quite, what she was actually saying that we would have to do would be very difficult, and I really just thought, this is beyond me, I can't do it, you know. So anyway, I tried to ring the people of the house and my friend, and I said, look, and that's why I was trying to find them, just so that, but I couldn't get on to anyone again. And the other person who I had gotten in touch with did say, she said, it's taken 3 times for me to get this message. She said, they know you're coming. It's like, okay. Usually, you know, those things do not usually frighten me, and I still wasn't, but I was cautious. So anyway, I couldn't get hold of them, so I thought, well, it's only a 10 to 15 minute drive out. I will drive out and tell them that I can't do it, give them all the information. And anyway, so I was driving out and I got a very distinct message. Yes, you can do this. Yes, it is part of your mission. It's part of your purpose, and it will be from now on. Please just have faith and trust. Now, I usually use the archangels, or have, you know, worked with Archangel Michael, Gabriel and Jesus Christ, and lately he has come in the form of the Lion of Judah. So anyway, I went out there and said to them, look, this is what the information that I have, and that probably it's not a good time to do it because of the eclipse, and it's going to make the darkness a lot more powerful. However, when I got out there, I told them that, but also I said, however, I believe that we can do this, and I believe that it is the perfect time. The husband of the house also agreed, and he said it is the perfect time, and we both said at the same time, whatever has been inverted must be reverted, and it is the perfect time to do it because of the eclipse. So as one part of that, as the sun comes over the moon, that is to remove the dark energies, and as it comes out through the other side, that will then revert the energies back. So I said, well, I think we all need to come from the highest of the high. And the other girl that was working with me had also received a message from a Christian friend who said that claim the land as Jesus Christ's and rebuke all darkness and demonics in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. So I said to her, you must do exactly as she has told you, because that is the highest of the high. And because of the husband's Maori background, I said whatever is appropriate for you is what is the highest for you and how you see things. I would like you to do the same, and I will work with with Jesus Christ, Archangel Michael and Gabriel. So the three of us sat there, we all meditated on the same thing. Both the other girl and myself ended up on dragons, unbeknownst to either of us at the time, and both of us went through and just obliterated their hell realms with fire, and all of the ley lines and the portal structure were obliterated with fire by the dragons. And then I pretty much drowned the whole of the hell realms with water as much as I could, and then closed the portal down with, which I didn't realise, because you see, when I do this work, the angels take over, and whatever must be done, and I just go along with whatever is. But I did notice that the grids were all laid down with molten gold, and then I was also asked to close down the portal with the six-pointed Star of David, which was also laid in molten gold, which I did do. Since then, apparently, the family have not yet moved back into the house because it needs a lot of renovation. But according to the wife of the family, she has actually informed me that there is a much different feeling to the house and the whole land area. Now, since then, I have actually had some visions, pretty much. Straight after all of that happened, I started to get visions of a golden city coming out of the sky. It was inlaid with jewels and extremely bright and absolutely beautiful, with different lines and all of that sort of stuff, like a different structure and grid lines coming out of the sky. And what I got was that this was the new city that would come down onto the earth once the energies of the old had been removed and reverted back, and the energy systems reverted back from the inversions of the fall. Apparently, because when I actually looked at that portal, when I picked up about the ancient civilizations had used the portals and the grid lines for their energy, for all the energy in the house, for their civilization. And this is how they generated all the energy that they needed to power everything that they had in those ancient civilizations, until the fall came. Now, I'm not really sure when the fall happened, and I'm not sure in what way, but that is when either the Anunnaki or the demonic sort of satanic Luciferian structure came to be on the earth. And I don't know very much about it. These are just things that I pick up. Anyway, so what has happened since then is all of these portals have, all of this, everything has been, all the energy systems from these portals have been inverted so that they can use it for their dark purposes here on the earth. And they have been for quite some time. How long for? I'm not really sure. Some people say 26,000 years. That could be true. So since then, all of this, because of all the changes that are now happening on the earth at this time, and we're moving into the age of Aquarius, which is, moving into a different area, a different sort of realm of peace. A lot of these energy systems have to be reverted back to what they once were. And so apparently what I'd done was come across a portal that was probably one of the main portals in the area, quite a large one, according to another clairvoyant friend of mine. So, and the city that I was seeing, it was bejeweled and very, 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 very beautiful, inlaid with gold, and absolutely stunning. Anyway, I am not a reader of the Bible, nor am I Christian in any way, shape or form, except for the fact that I do work with Archangel Michael, Gabriel and Jesus Christ, and have had a lot to do with archangels, many angels and demonics over the years. So I've worked with the angels pretty much to take out demonic activity around the earth structure. But I was directed to read part of the Revelations at the back of the Bible. Anyway, this is what I found, which is quite interesting. Chapter 21, which I find really, really interesting too, that we are in the end of 2021. Anyway, I shall read you this. Now I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth had passed away, and there was no more sea. Let me tell you about the sea too. Right now, every single human on this planet who are, and I mean, we've been run by the dark cabal systems galactically and globally for some time now. So I'm not really sure when it actually started, but when they started to open the central banking systems, and they started to have the stock exchange and birth certificates, we now, as entities on the earth, when we are born, we are worth, I think it's something like $100 billion each or something. And as soon as we are born, our mother signs the birth certificate. We are then floated onto the stock market. We never see any of that money. They just drain us completely and continually for years and years and years, the cabal systems. But the owners of this planet, the human owners of this planet, are making a shitload of money. And we have to keep, and of course they keep feeding and off us all the time. But I did find out something which was very, very interesting. We are under maritime law. So because of this situation, and we find ourselves in, and we have found ourselves in for quite a few centuries now, under maritime law, if we are born in a hospital, we are actually born at sea. The hospital becomes the ship. The doctor becomes the ship's captain. When our mother signs our birth certificate and our name is in capital letters. The only time capital letters are used is on our tombstone, when we die. When our mother signs that certificate, they basically have signed our death certificate. We are dead entities. So under maritime law and the sea, none of us are actually here on earth, nor do we own any of the earth, because we are born at sea. So none of us can claim the land rights. So the cabal have had complete control over the land rights through this maritime law, and basically shafted every single person on this planet, while feeding off us as well. So that's what I think they mean by "and no more sea." There's some amazing stuff coming onto this planet where the cabal, once removed, and all the demonics and all the darkness is removed, it's going to be an amazing, amazing earth. Then I found this. And he carried me away in the spirit to a great and high mountain, and showed me the great city, the holy Jerusalem, descending out of heaven from God. Having the glory of God, her light was like a most precious stone, like a jasper stone, clear as crystal. Also she had a great and high wall, with 12 gates and 12 angels at the gates, and names written on them, which are the names of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel. Now the 12 tribes of the children of Israel, of course, were from Jacob, and I don't know the ins and outs of the history of it, you can look it up. the 12 tribes of Israel then went out through all of Europe and then eventually to Australia and other countries as well. And seeded the earth with the 12 tribes, from the 12 tribes of Israel. 3 gates on the east, 3 gates on the north, 3 gates on the south, and 3 gates on the west. Now the wall of the city had 12 foundations, and on them were the names of the 12 apostles of the Lamb. And he who talked with me had a gold reed to measure the city, its gates, and its wall. The city is laid out as a square. Its length is as great as its breadth. And he measured the city with the reed, 12,000 furlongs. Its length, breadth, and height are equal. Then he measured its walls, 144 cubits, according to the measure of a man, that is, of an angel. The construction of its wall was of jasper, and the city was pure gold, like clear glass. The foundations of the wall of the city were adorned with all kinds of precious stones. The first foundation was jasper, the second sapphire, the third chalcedony, the fourth emerald, the fifth sardonyx, the sixth sardius, the seventh chrysolite, the eighth beryl, the ninth topaz, the 10th chrysoprase, the 11th jacinth, and the 12th amethyst. The 12 gates were 12 pearls. Each individual gate was of 1 pearl, and the streets of the city were pure gold, like transparent glass, which is exactly how I have seen this city in the sky. But I saw no temple in it, for the Lord God Almighty and the Lamb are its temple. I believe that we are the lambs of this earth they are talking about. The city had no need of the sun or of the moon to shine in it, for the glory of God illuminated it. The Lamb is its light. And the nations of those who are saved shall walk in its light, and the kings of the earth bring their glory and honour into it. Its gates shall not be shut at all by day. There shall be no night there. Also, if you have a look at the UN countries, there's 12 countries in all. And they shall bring the glory and the honour of the nations into it. But there shall be no means enter it anything that defiles or causes an abomination or a lie, but only those who are written in the Lamb's book of life. Interesting that that's the chapter 21 in the book of Revelations. We are now in 2021, and after doing this work, I have actually seen this city in the sky and have been told that once all this cabal and all of the darkness is removed and everything, all the energy systems of the planet, all the grids, everything are reverted back to the original way that it was supposed to be before the darkness inverted everything, then that city and its structure will be overlaid onto the planet. A lot of people think that the new city of Jerusalem is apparently in one particular spot. It's not what I'm getting. After reading this, I don't know. I'm not a Bible scholar. I have no idea. I can only go by my personal experiences and about what I am getting because I've been led to that and being shown visions of this city. Then in chapter 22, I found this. Now, after I actually had these visions of the city, I then began to get visions of the six-pointed star in gold and beautiful jewels once again. So many of them. I would get thousands upon thousands of visions of these six-pointed stars every time I closed my eyes. And I didn't actually really understand it. And I knew that when I shut that portal down, there was that six-pointed star, and I got that it was the Star of David. I didn't know anything because I don't know the history of anything. I only ever get what I get and then are told to go and look it up when you get these visions. So then I found this in chapter 22, which my eyes just kind of went straight to it after I read this and after I was receiving those visions of the six-pointed star. I, Jesus, have sent my angel to testify to you these things in the churches. I am the root and the offspring of David, the bright and morning star. So, what I feel is that 2021 is the removal of all the darkness and the cabal, everything on the earth, all the systems being replaced and being all reverted back to the way they were. And like many months ago, I had received messages to say that there would be everything that was inverted must be reverted, and that everything would flip-flop back to to its right position. And then I found this after I got all those visions of the six-pointed stars. it's interesting that it's also chapter 22. Next year is 2022. And so what I actually feel is that once all of this is gone, all the darkness has been removed, and that city is placed down onto the earth's structure, we then, the humans and the righteous, who happen to be all of the humans under God, will live in a completely different way under the land that Jesus Christ has reclaimed through the Star of David. Because if that portal was closed down and that six-pointed star was put on the earth, then on that particular part, and I keep seeing all thousands upon thousands of them, I believe that's what's actually happening. So it's like a reclamation of the Christ coming down onto the earth. Anyway, so that's my story.